So following on from Chicago calling, Boston calling, things are going pretty well at the moment. And the next sort of step leading into this potential BQ in Chicago is running a sub 145 half marathon. So that's what we're going to go through now. Is I'm going to take you through the ins and the outs of our sub 145 half marathon plan. As we discussed in episode 2, it's really important to train for where you are, not necessarily where you want to be. So if 1 hour 45 half marathon is where you kind of want to be, these are the times you need to be running across 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon. For a 5K, you want to be running at 24 minutes, in and around 24 minutes. A 10K, sub 50 minutes, so around 49 minutes. A half marathon, sub 1 hour 50, and for a marathon, around 3 hours 45. So those are the general sort of times that you should be running if this is the plan that you want to follow. So let's go into the nitty gritty about this plan. We're going to look at the overall structure first, and then we'll dive into each sort of block and how we build things across the whole structure. The big overall structure is a 12-week plan, and we break that plan up into 4-week cycles or blocks. So let's dive into the nitty-gritties of this 12-week plan. So we're going to look at the first cycle, which is a 4-week cycle. So the first block there, it's a 5-day-a-week running plan. Let me just make a caveat over there that if you're not used to running 5 days a week, don't suddenly jump to running 5 days a week. And the plan you can then take out of there is your Wednesday recovery run. Let's look at week 1 over here. The black blocks are essentially your strength training, and then the orange is your running, and your green is your rest day. If we look at how we structure the week, Tuesdays are normally our intervals or speed or heel sessions, and then Wednesday is a recovery run. Thursday is a bit of more of an easier run. We might still look at building a bit of volume in that run, but it's still an easy run. And then the weekend runs is your Saturday long run, followed by a bit more of a recovery run again on the Sunday. So if we look at the Saturday long runs to start off with, you'll see that you're starting with an hour and a half long run. In week 2, that builds up to an hour 40, and in week 3, up to an hour 50. And that again is just trying to build that aerobic capacity, that aerobic engine, getting the volume of training up nice and slowly and progressively. The same thing or the similar thing is true on a Thursday, which is your easy run. We start off there on an hour as an easy run, and we just slowly increase a little bit of the mileage in there, so it goes up to an hour 5 minutes, and then an hour 10. Again, just the goal here being to build that aerobic capacity and volume over this first block. If we now look at our intervals on a Tuesday, what we've prescribed here in this program is 2-minute heels. So heel repeats if you're not familiar. When we're working on 2-minute heels, that's essentially we're working on strength. And I'm not necessarily talking gym strength. I'm being specific to running strength. We're trying to lay a foundation of strength in your running so that it can sustain you for what's coming up later in the program. So let's dive into what we're looking at here. In the first week, you're going to be doing 6 2-minute heels. In the next week, we pick that up to 7 reps of 2-minute heels. And in week 3, we're bringing that up to 8 reps of 2-minute heels. One of the important things when you're doing heel repeats is to remember that we're looking for a hard, sustained effort. Okay, so you don't want to really start super fast and then die the slow death up the hill. Okay, you want to try and maintain as much of an even pace throughout that hill. And even more importantly with that as well is the 6 repetitions that you're doing, you really want to try and get those as evenly paced across the board. So coming into our recovery week in this first block, your deloading week, there's a couple of things that are important here. Is that we try and keep the frequency of runs the same. You might be running around the same number of days per week. What we've done here is we've actually reduced it down to 4 days a week just to give you that extra recovery. But what's very important is that we reduce the volume of running, and we sometimes might increase the intensity within these deload weeks. So a recovery week does not mean you're not doing anything, just means we're deloading, giving your body that opportunity to benefit from all the training that you've just put it through. So let's dive into this in a little bit more detail. Week 4 of this plan, you'll see there are 2 45-minute recovery runs on a Tuesday and a Thursday. So where on a Tuesday we would normally have an interval session, now we have a 45-minute recovery run. On the Wednesday, we are still just maintaining a little bit of volume, and so there we're doing an hour easy run. Again, as I mentioned, the 45 minutes on the Thursday. And then on the Saturday, we have scheduled a 5-kilometer time trial. That essentially plays 2 roles. That's going to fulfill the role of your intensity for the week. And the second role of this time trial is that this is what we use to measure your performance over time. We are massive sticklers for running easy in your easy runs and not measuring your performance as in your easy and your long runs, and rather using your time trial over the next couple of weeks to measure whether or not you're improving. So try and run that time trial on as flat a course as possible, and also so that you can measure use the same route the next time we run the time trial, so that those two results are comparable. You'll notice that all the way through there is a rest day on a Friday, and so we always have at least one full day of rest in a week plan. Okay, this happens to take place on a Friday, and it's really, really important. Again, just a reminder around, this is the opportunity where your body is now getting all the benefits of all the training that you're putting it through. Just maybe to recognize as well is that monitor your own recovery. See how you are feeling. And if you're feeling really, really tired, if your legs are heavy, if you can't walk up a flight of stairs without feeling absolutely shattered, then we need to make another adjustment. And one of the things you can do is that Wednesday recovery run, the 45-minute recovery run, you can take that out and then rather use that as another rest day as well. So now diving into the second block, so that next 4-week block of training. So week 5, this is coming out of your recovery week. In this week over here, so the same things remain. The frequency of training is still the same, still 5 days a week, and the structure around those days is still the same. The goal of this block is really we're not necessarily looking to increase, we're still building aerobic capacity, but we're not looking to increase our mileage or our volume as much. And we're training for a half marathon here, so we're not necessarily looking to build too much more mileage. And so what you'll see straight away is that the long runs on the Saturday are all 2-hour long runs. Okay, so we're not looking to increase our mileage much more, but we are still building aerobic capacity in this time. Where we are perhaps just touching on that little bit of extra mileage is on your Thursday runs, but not to the point where it's making you too fatigued or tired. And so we're only increasing those Thursday runs by 5 minutes each week. And so they're going from 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20, and then you'll see in the last week of this block, it remains at 1 hour 20. The key change here really comes into the Tuesday, the interval runs. And that is, again, where we're doing hill repeats, but we've gone from running 2-minute hill repeats to 1-minute hill repeats. And if you remember in that first block, we're working on strength, right? So not gym strength, running strength and building that up. And now with these 1-minute hill repeats, what we're focusing on is power. And that's in whatever aspect you're thinking with strength and power. Whenever we want to work on power, we always have to build strength first. And that's what we've done here. We've built a running strength base with the 2-minute hills, and now we're converting and moving that into a 1-minute hill, which is a lot more of a power sort of aspect. Again, prepping you for what we're looking to do in the last block, which we'll touch on in just a little bit. All right, so with these 1-minute hills, these power-orientated hills, we are keeping it set at 5 repetitions of the 1-minute hills throughout this whole block. The goal of this is that with power, if you try and do too many repetitions, you lose power. You no longer are working on power, and you might be working on more strength, and that's why we're keeping it at 5 reps. That's why it's less repetitions than that strength block, and it's also a shorter time base, because that's how we work on power. A lot of it has to do also with your rest interval, and so you're doing your 1-minute hill up the hill, and you're walking or taking an easy jog back down, because you're really wanting to get back to the bottom of that hill and be able to give it your all going up. Again, not running to your maximum. As in the first block, we want to try and keep that pace as equal as possible for that 1 minute up the hill, and throughout the 5 reps, trying to maintain all 5 as equal as possible from rep number 1 all the way through to rep number 5. When we move into our recovery week of the second block, again, we have to really put so much emphasis on these weeks. Think of recovery as much as you would, as important as you would a session. The structure of this recovery week is the same as in the first block. There are 2 45-minute recovery runs. There's an hour easy run midweek, and then again, another time trial coming up on the Saturday to measure your performance. So again, try and do this 5K on the same course or the same route that you did the first one. Try and keep all the conditions the same, the way you slept, what you ate before. Try and maintain all of those things so that we can really have a comparable sort of set of times from your first time trial to your second time trial. And then that's going to give us a good indication of how much you're improving over this last 4-week cycle. Really important here is that we now have 2 rest days in the recovery week. So again, that is just important as a reminder. We're trying to give our bodies the opportunity to benefit from all the training you've put it through. Coming into the last block, all right? So now you're feeling a little bit stronger. You're probably feeling really tired going into your week 8, your recovery week. But now you're coming back into your last block of 4 weeks training before we get to race day. The goal around this block is really, I want to say, more speed endurance. Okay, so we've gone from a strength aspect to a bit of power, and now we're looking at some speed endurance as we're moving through. Diving into it, the structure is the same frequency. We are not looking to build more volume or mileage. We're still building aerobic capacity, but the closer we get to race day, we don't want to be building on that volume and mileage. And so your Saturday long runs in week 9 and week 10 stay at 2 hours, with your Sunday again being your 45-minute recovery run. Same thing on a Thursday where we were doing those easy runs. Those stay at 1 hour 20. So we're not necessarily building up on mileage, but again, maintaining or perhaps building aerobic capacity. And then this is where the big change comes in on our Tuesday interval sessions. And here we are looking to do 1K repeats. This is where that speed endurance aspect takes place. And the rep range for these 1K repeats, we're doing 5 by 1K repeats for the 3 weeks leading up to your taper week. And then as we get into the race week, this is where all the magic happens, right? So a couple of things that you want to be focusing on aside from a training perspective, obviously good sleep, good nutrition, all of the basics apply there. We really change things up in this race week. We reduce the volume of training, we reduce the frequency of training very often as well. But the key thing here is that we keep the intensity either the same or just slightly more. And you'll see that the change here goes from a 1K repeat down to a set of 400 meter repeats. So what we're doing there, we almost would call them like sharpening kind of intervals. So we don't want to fatigue the system too much before race day, but we want to still just get everything a little bit sharper as we're going through. So in these 400 meter repeats, we're not doing a lot of them. We're doing 3 by 400 meters. If we do any more, you're going to be fatiguing your system leading up to race day. Here again, we're just trying to keep things firing as we're leading into race day, because we are tapering down from a volume perspective, but we still just want to get all those neuromuscular junctions, all the connections to the muscle fiber still firing. And that's why we do 3 400 meter repeats with a 1 minute rest in between, which essentially allows for that speed endurance aspect. All right, so strength. We didn't touch on this in each individual block, but the principles are going to remain true as we go through. So we have 2 strength sessions a week here. Really, the focus of these strength sessions is 1, injury prevention, trying to keep you injury free so that you can stay consistent over the whole 12-week block. And the second aspect is performance. We want to make your body stronger, more powerful, able to sustain the loads, able to push off hard, able to manage the eccentric load, and really help you become a better runner. The first session that I like to do very often on a Monday is a lighter intensity strength. And the reason that is lighter intensity is because your harder or your interval running day is on a Tuesday. And I want you to go into that Tuesday run not feeling extremely fatigued. So that lighter strength, that's where we would focus more on your injury prevention stuff, your stabilizers, your core, the stuff that isn't going to be as taxing. The Wednesday strength that we have in is a bit more medium intensity, and that's where we're focusing on the main prime movers. That's where we're looking at a bit more of the performance-based aspects of this. And again, you might feel a bit of heavier legs going into your Thursday run, but that's okay, because that Thursday run is an easy run. You can allow yourself a bit of time to loosen up the legs as you're going through that run. What you will see, and this is very, very key, is that in your recovery weeks or your deloading weeks in week 4 and in week 8, we drop from 2 strength sessions down to 1 strength session. This is very important, again, to allow your body some extra recovery time, to ensure that you're getting the time and giving your body the benefit of all the training that it's done. And then in race week as well, we drop down to 1 strength session. That 1 strength session in race week is optional. If you're feeling tired, if you're feeling a little bit nervous, you're welcome to drop that strength session out and have no strength in race week. And as we move up towards marathons and ultras, I would definitely say no strength sessions in race week. So if you're on a sub 145 half marathon journey and you'd like to have a look at this plan, you can click on the link on screen now. I wish you all of the best in your journey and going towards a sub 145 half marathon goal. And I really do think that you'll be able to smash it using this plan.